Welcome. My name is Kathy Beveridge. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Bucks County, I would like to welcome you to this interview with Dana Foley, candidate for Region 3 School Director of the Central Bucks School District. The League is a nonprofit, nonpartisan, volunteer organization dedicated to empowering voters and defending democracy. We want all voters to cast an informed vote in every election, and these interviews, as well as our online voters guide, vote411.org, give voters a chance to learn where candidates stand on the issues. We have invited all candidates running for school director in the Central Bucks School District to participate in these interviews as a service to the voters of Bucks County. These interviews are unedited, and candidates were provided with the questions in advance. All candidates are being asked the same 6 questions and will be given 90 seconds to reply to each. The first question for Dana Foley is, why do you want to be a school board director, and what are your qualifications?
So I am not a politician, and I certainly never plan to run for office, but I also never plan to raise a child in a political climate quite like this. And the leadership running our district, including our board majority and administration, have chosen to focus on inciting division in our schools while overlooking what our students, our staff, and our families really need and deserve. This has distracted our great teachers and students, creating division and chaos in our community. And I feel it's necessary to model to my children what it means to take part in building the world we believe we can and should have. I'm a nurse practitioner who has worked in healthcare for nearly 20 years. And through my work with patients, I've learned that a combination of compassion and common sense are critical to helping others. Understanding the challenges that individuals and families face in high-stakes situations, utilizing data-driven decision-making, and advocating for those in need are just a few ways I can translate my professional strengths into this role.
What are the 3 most pressing issues for the Central Bucks School District?
The school staffing shortage is a crisis. This will require further emphasis and expansion of our current recruitment and retention efforts for teachers, support staff, and transportation employees. We need a board using responsible budgeting to solve the shortage and recruit and retain top talent, not waste money on legal and crisis PR firms to defend divisive policy, and highlight the inability to work with our community to solve problems. There's a mental health crisis facing teens. We need to ensure there are enough counselors and mental health resources in schools so students feel supported to meet the demand that we are facing. We need to identify mental health support needs in the district and provide additional resources where appropriate to ensure students have the foundation they need to perform academically. And lastly, learning loss needs to be addressed. We need to focus our efforts on getting children back up to speed on academics while creating a positive learning environment that helps children to thrive. It is also important to highlight that we cannot fix one issue without addressing the other. So, for example, addressing learning loss means addressing staffing issues in our district. We additionally cannot talk about learning loss without considering mental health in our children. If children are struggling with mental health issues, we cannot expect them to perform well academically.
Dana, what is the role of schools in teaching children about racism, sex education, and gender equity?
Schools are where children learn and grow to be successful adults. Modeling inclusivity helps build adults with empathy who can thrive in a world with different colors, cultures, beliefs, preferences, and aberrancy from their own norm. Filtering the reality to make the grown-ups raising them more comfortable with what they maybe don't understand or value is not what public education is about. Public education is ultimately to provide a rich academic framework for students and support them both intellectually and developmentally to ensure that they can thrive both in school and beyond. In a perfect world, education of children regarding racism, sex, education, and gender equity would exist as a beautiful continuum between formalized education in the classroom and informal education in the privacy of one's home. However, the state in our current learning climate is that that doesn't happen as well as we would like it to, and therefore the role of the teacher becomes that much more important. It's necessary that we expose our kids to topics like this and have the teachers facilitate discussions, which can then continue in the home with parent involvement and support. This ultimately means providing them with an education that is data-driven and based in reality, and does not exclude topics like racism, sex education, and gender equity, given these are real issues that they will need to understand and potentially experience when they transition into the real world.
Okay, what effect do you believe school board policies have on teacher morale and teacher shortages? And what, if anything, would you do as a school board director to improve teacher morale and teacher retention?
When I think about this question, it makes me think of my own experience as a healthcare provider, where we face similar challenges to teachers. Low morale and staffing shortages have been a part of my career path for as long as I can remember. And I think the climate and culture where we spend 40+ hours a week absolutely can negatively impact morale and psyche if the messaging is one that does not make employees feel valued and supported. Having teachers feel hesitant, even afraid to speak to their students on issues that are pertinent to their growth as learners, directly contradicts what draws many to the profession of education. I feel as school board directors, it is our responsibility to provide teachers with a stable foundation and working environment so they not only have the tools to do their job, but the belief that they have a group of people committed to their own professional success, growth, and development. Providing proactive leadership and oversight as opposed to reactive is essential for any successful working environment. And I think parental input is important to the curriculum, but should encourage parents to partner collaboratively with our teachers while also valuing the role of our educators' training and skill sets. Taking away the autonomy of a teacher to determine how to teach their students is a direct threat to their identity in the profession.
Do you advocate any changes to the curriculum at any level? If so, what changes would you advocate?
I think any curriculum used to build an educational foundation for children needs to be data-driven and evidence-based. It should be current, up-to-date, and fact-focused, and certainly it should support science. I additionally feel academic environments need to cater to all types of learners and celebrate all forms of success. So, for example, standardized tests are limited in their ability to assess a student's higher level thinking skills, such as creativity, problem solving, critical thinking, and artistic ability, but they do accurately assess math, reading, and science proficiency. And it's often how we measure student success. I would love to ascertain methods to measure success in other avenues to further enhance the reputation of our schools and staff who teach a robust curriculum, as well as celebrate our learners whose strengths fall outside of those areas.
And what 3 things do you want to accomplish if you are elected to the school board?
I think we need to first remember that we have more in common than some may think here in Central Bucks. We should also remember that our board members and administration should always make every effort to remain nonpartisan and have a student-centric approach to their decision-making. 3 things I would want to see happen as your school board director would be to advocate to stop wasteful spending and encourage effective resource utilization. I would also champion recruitment and retention of top talent in our school district to address the staffing shortages we face. I also will tackle learning loss in our district, which has been a longstanding issue with no implementation of solutions from our current leadership. In a community that feels very much divided, I want us to work together to create a path back to stability, as well as find solutions to problems instead of creating them. We should be working together to celebrate the value of a public education.
This concludes our interview with Dana Foley, who is running for Region 3 School Director of the Central Bucks School District. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Thanks. Voters who are unsure of their school district region can go to www.vote411.org to see only the candidates who will be on their ballot for all of the races in the municipal primary. This election will be on Tuesday, May 16th.